Hey, it's Dottie, and just wanted to check in with a kind of short email, but just a pretty vulnerable email and a video just to talk to you. It's just been one of those weeks. I think you may know by now. I don't know if you're reading the emails and watching the videos, but I'm a mom to two children, and my oldest son, Dylan, is 33 and has a diagnosis of autism and intellectual disability and needs a lot of care, has what I call high support needs. So it's just been one of those really tough weeks, and I feel like I know you understand. If you're here reading this email and watching this video, I think you get it. It's one of those weeks where, for me, I almost don't want to answer my phone, wondering what news it's going to bring. So it's been a week that's been filled with some sadness, and not just some sadness, I'd say a lot of sadness, a lot of concern, a lot of anger, a lot of decisions that I had to make that were not easy at all. And um, so Dylan has a caregiver, a team member, a guy that has supported Dylan for 5.5 years, almost 6 years. He is a guy that um, we care about a lot as a family. We've gotten to know him well, him and his family. He's cared for Dylan again for many, many years, and he's someone who, when new staff work with Dylan, this is the guy that I turn to say, help me train them. So he and Dylan had an altercation, completely out of character for this guy. It resulted in a struggle between them, like a physical struggle. Haven't seen that, haven't heard of that in probably 8 years with Dylan. Dylan does have outbursts, and those can be pretty loud. He'll throw things and yell, but he's never aggressive toward anyone. He was at some points in his life, and happy to share that at some time. But this was just this team member did things that are out of character, at least that I know that he's never done. And it ended up being he had to restrain Dylan, and Dylan got injured. Brought him to the doctor the next day. Dylan is healing with his injuries. I think he has some PTSD from it, some post-traumatic stress, as I do from it. It was sad and scary and, again, confusing. This is a guy that I've trusted for so long with Dylan. So I work with an agency. I don't know if that's how it works for you. For quite some time, I was self-directing Dylan's services, but now I have an agency helping me, and the agency, of course, learned about what happened and said we can't keep him. We just can't keep someone like that. I understand why. I absolutely don't want anyone with my son that would do what happened, but I'm still confused, right? It's still something that after 6 years with this person, I don't know. I'm just confused why he did it. So he and I talked once, and I haven't talked to him since then. And I would like to, but I need some space and some time between that. So it just is hard, isn't it, when we have people that we trust with our children, and then they break that trust. So it's been hard. So I've taken a lot of walks. That's what I do a lot. Walking with my dog Scout, who's sitting over there on my couch. And I listen to audiobooks. That's just, I mean, I read books, but I love listening to books while I'm walking. And I don't know if you're familiar with this one person, this teacher of mine. I mean, I have never worked with her live. Her name is Pema Chodron. Some people say Pema Chodron. She's a Buddhist teacher, an author. She's a mom. Pema has inspired millions of people around the world who've all been touched by her example, her practice, and the way she practices peace during turbulent times. So her words are so grounding to me. I went from feeling what I call like really activated, just mad, 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 and sad, a lot of tears, and listening to her just really brought me down. It kind of grounded me. So I'm sharing her work below. You can look at the link. She's published probably over 20 books. She also has all sorts of lectures and talks on the internet. You can just Google her, Pema Chodron. You can see her name below. Many of you probably already know her. Um, but she is one of my go-to teachers, she and many other people, but someone I go to a lot. So just wanted to share that with you. I know I've heard from a lot of moms in our group who have also experienced that their sons and daughters have experienced abuse and neglect, and it's unconscionable. It's hard to talk about, isn't it? And I think it's something we do need to talk about because I think people turn their head and they don't want to believe it's happening. I don't know that I believe it's happening every day all the time, but I think it's much more prevalent than the system wants us to believe with people who are very vulnerable, like our children. So I hope this finds you well. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. So just hit reply. I love hearing from all of you and being able to write back and forth. It just feels like we're a small but mighty group of moms from the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia. We are so much more aligned and have so much more in common than I think people think we do. So take good care, and I will see you in another email.